is all grass and lightning basics take 30 less damage as long as this stadium is active. That's both you and your opponent. But that means your Tapu Bulus, the 190 HP they have, let's make that like 220.
Yeah, and then if they can't knock you out, you can just heal it all away with your GX attack. Now, we do see the prizes really quickly. Looks like Jackie's going to have 3 energy in there, which can be relevant in the end game when you're really trying to accelerate all the energy out of your deck. We did get some light information, so it's possible Gustavo is running in a Lola Ninetales deck.
Oh, wait, I actually think it's Mega Gardevoir. Oh, no,
well, let's
Ninetales,
see.
okay.
Close enough. Well, not close enough, but hey, we see it now.
Okay. I'm actually a really big fan of Alolan Ninetales. If I would have played this tournament, it's probably the deck I would have played, just because I like to have fun, and Vulpix is an amazing card.
Oh, and it looks like, here we go, just in time. We have both deck lists, so we'll be able to inform you guys on those decisions. And so it looks like it is over on Jackie's turn right now. Did discard the conservation area at the moment.
Yeah, by the way, that's a mouthful to say.
Yes, yeah, I'm just calling it conservation area. Aether Town, whatever. That's how many syllables is that? It barely fits in the text. I'm shocked. But either way, yeah, throwing it away now. It is sort of awkward where you would also give that reduced damage to your opponent's Tapu Koko. So maybe you don't want that right away. But standard setup, we've got Tapu Lele, Wonder Tag, grabbing an N, attachment, and down goes the N.
Yeah, usually you see that turn 1 Wonder Tag getting a Bridget, but unfortunately it seemed like his hand didn't have much of anything else going on, so he chose to end to try to still get set up later on.
Yeah, we've talked many times about how popular Bridget is as a single copy. It's an ultimate turn 1 in combination with Lele, but that doesn't mean it's always the best turn 1 play.
Yeah, and there we see them shuffling up.
Yeah, early end, so both players are going to be shuffling and drawing 6. If I'm Jackie, I'm still going to be hoping that I have some way to get some grubbin down at the end of this. But sometimes it can be a little tougher. And not for Jackie, though. Looks like I see, is that 2 grubbin?
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It does look like
basically
the rest
was a
of
Bridget.
the hand is bad, though.
Yeah, I don't know if he has a way to continually draw after that. We are passing over to Gustavo now. Gustavo float stone down on Vulpix and just immediately Sycamoring the rest away. Wasn't happy with the rest.
That's a really big Sycamore, too. Discarding a lot of stuff.
That poor Ninetales at the top. Just wanted to evolve.
Oh, wow. It looked like it was double Sycamore, double Versus Seeker as his hand.
Oh, those are valuable late game resources.
It's one of those hands where you really don't want to Sycamore it away, but if you wait and continue to draw cards, you'll eventually draw stuff that you still don't want to discard, and it makes it even worse later on in the game.
In the meantime, Tapu Koko doing what it does best with a flying flip and that extra damage to the active. So 50, 20 to all the bench.
Ever since this card came out, it has made such a big impact in the format. And the fact that it has free retreat also, it makes it one of the perfect starters too.
Yeah, it's like everything on this card is good. I even expected for a while that it had 1 retreat, and I realized, like, oh, you just like.
Wait, this card's better?
Yeah, I feel like there's like an HP threshold at 110. There's no 110 Pokemon should have free retreat as a basic, but this one does, and it is so good. Tapu Koko, lightning fast and lightning strong, hits all your Pokemon for 20. That combines so well with spread cards like Decidueye, like Alolan Ninetales. So we see the evolution of Charjabug on the bench, and just a Horn attack on the Bulu.
Yeah, there's not much else going on for Jackie here. And let's see if Gustavo can find an opening. His deck is kind of a slower deck. Ninetales is a slow deck where you really just try to tank around. You have cards that, like Rough Seas, that heal up, and you try to just cycle between these Ninetales GX.
Yeah, other decks, they might have already been able to knock out the Bulu at this point.
Yeah.
You know, if you give up 2 straight turns or you're just sitting there. This deck, though, it aims to defeat you in a different way by just spreading the damage slowly. So even though it might not look great now, if Gustavo's able to continually spread, you'll see the most important part of Jackie's deck be taken down just by extra damage. Also, extremely relevant end here. Jackie had nothing, and now he's given a new hand of 6.
Sometimes maybe you're thinking like, oh, he could have retreated to Beacon if he really needed cards.
Yeah, I've actually, even at like the World Championship Finals, we've seen the conversation of if your opponent doesn't play anything, do you just not end? Is it more valuable for you if your opponent hasn't shown anything of value? That said, if you don't have anything of value, sometimes you have to play it. It's tough.
Yeah, so now with that end, a fresh new hand of 6, it looks like Jackie can actually get some stuff going. We see a Mew in his hand from Fate's Collide. That's also something you haven't really seen.
Yeah, that's pretty
especially
wild.
In a deck like this.
A nice thing about Mew is because you can just accelerate energies to it, it can just copy the other attacks of your Pokemon. You're still hitting for the Psychic typing, but with weakness, unlike the Tapu Lele. And it also only gives up 1 prize card when it's knocked out instead of the usual 2.
Yeah, so it's essentially acting as a 4th Tapu Bulu because it only copies the basics attacks.
Tapu Mewlu.
Oh my gosh. No.
So we see another. And, welcome, by the way. It's wonderful first cast with you, Jeremy. We do see the Vikavolt hit the ground.
And there's that conservation area in his hand. That's one thing that's actually really good against a card like Tapu Koko.
Yeah, just being able to conserve the damage that's done to you throughout all of your Pokemon, that's a big deal.
And thanks to the strong charge, Tapu Bulu is now charged up. This Tapu Koko will go down. It just depends if he feels like the GX attack is good enough to use here to heal that 70 damage.
Yeah, it's weird. If my opponent... Oh, and there we see GX attack indeed. There goes the damage. And now the conservation area is in play. That's a big ol' resistance. A big defender. A big buffer feast. 30 damage. Oh, and there it goes.
We see some of the Tapu Bulu decks like to play the Fighting Fury Belts to increase their HP and make it more of a tank. Well, this one, it uses Conservation Area to kind of the same effect. Maybe in the long run it's a little bit better because it is better against cards like Tapu Koko.
Now, one thing you noticed, the stadium that was replaced was Rough Seas, which actually does benefit Jackie's Pokemon if he remembers to use it. You can heal electric Pokemon as well off of it.
That is right. Most people don't really realize that because it's seas, water.
Yeah, it's always what I think of. There are a few other Pokemon like Manectric in the past that have healed off of it, but it's mostly been a water card. I wonder if Jackie will catch that. It will be huge because those are the 2 Pokemon he's looking to preserve for the entire game.
Exactly. And especially with this 50 damage, he did decide to put it on the Tapu Bulu, but it would have been different. Like, well, maybe he would have put it on the Lightning Pokemon if he didn't realize about Rough Seas.
So let's see if Jackie notices it. And, yep, there we go. Oh, no, he's pointing for the charge. I want to see if he gets it because that's a big deal. But regardless.
And it's usually with a card that isn't really seeing that much play right now in Rough Seas because even like Greninja that usually played 3 or 4 of them, now they're not really playing any.
Yeah, it's sort of fallen by the wayside. Sometimes still used, but it'll be interesting. There's the double attachment. Did he attach 1 lightning, 1 grass?
No, he just attached 1 grass.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, you're able to choose if you want to get one or the other,
right,
or both.
I do know at least 2 lightning energy are in his prizes still.
Yeah, that is right.
He did start with pretty heavy prize counts. He's going to want to have to start grabbing prizes as soon as possible. I believe he's looking for something like a choice band so he can knock out this Ninetales in 1 hit, not have to deal with its GX attack.
Yeah, he does play the 2 choice band. And let's see. He's kind of keeping his hand a secret. There's not really much. There's a few supporters, rare candies, but you don't need those already. He's already manually evolved from Charge Bugs.
Yeah, and just looking at his board, just opting to do the damage, no Rough Seas.
Yeah, wow.
And Octillery comes down. I imagine there's a sigh of relief on Gustavo's end.
Yeah.
If he realized that was something that could happen. It's just something like, you just think it's just water.
Yeah.
It just popped in my head. I was like, doesn't that help him?
It's honestly stadiums in general. I remember a while ago when Tropical Beach was big, even people who aren't really familiar with it, they didn't know, like, I can
use it too. Yeah, the stadiums are typically almost always just effects that both players can use at any given point. So you want to try and find effects that only help you and not your opponent. Here we see an Ultra Ball over on Gustavo's end, and he does have Octillery in place to be able to use Abyssal Hands to have a steady stream of draw throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that he plays the 2 Rough Seas instead of like a card like Brooklet Hill or something like that to help him get like Remoraid's and Vulpixes out.
Yeah, just opting to find them the old-fashioned way, either by drawing into them or I guess just must have been content with the usual turn 1 Bridget that we see nowadays.
Yeah, I also don't see any Dive Ball either. So that's interesting. Yeah.
That's such a popular card. Gustavo instead he's got a 2/2 Octillery Remoraid, which I would say is a little uncommon. I've seen 1/1s often. Just looking to consistently draw in that way, bit slower, but once it gets going, as you can see, he's got a pretty nice hand.
Maybe now if Gustavo uses Rough Seas, it'll kind of trigger Jackie like, oh, wait, that's right, it's a card.
Yeah, I'm curious. Has he used it on his turn yet either? I don't think he has.
No, not yet.
On the Ninetales. So there we see Aqua Patch. The acceleration of Aqua Patch is extremely crazy. GX attack. Oh, opting not to
GX. Yeah.
No Rough Seas because I can just add all those damage counters.
Yeah, why would you? I mean, come on.
So we have already seen a GX attack over on Bulu's end. So we won't get to see another one here that removes all of those damage counters.
Yeah,
we
both
will
of them.
See a Skyla.
Both of them kind of healing GX attacks too.
Skyla grabbing that choice band that Jackie wanted to grab last turn. Will be able to one-hit knock out this Alolan Ninetales.
Yeah, and he's actually fine with discarding all the energy because this Tapu Bulu is going to get knocked out anyway. And again, we don't see the Rough Seas.
So there we go. Bulu Judgment taking the knockout. 2 prize cards, and finally has started to dig into some of those energy cards as well from the prizes.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with this Vikavolt deck is after a while, your strong charges aren't that strong anymore because all your energy is either in play or in the discard. That's why you see them play cards like Energy Recycler, which is usually just like a theme deck card.
Right?
Yeah.
Even Recycler is sort of theme decky at best.
Yeah.
But sometimes different cards make old cards that you wouldn't have seen used before become a little more popular. Here we see the Mallow over on Gustavo's end, allowing you to search for any 2 cards, and then you just stack them on top of your deck. Normally, you'd have to wait a turn.
Yeah, but I love this combo because of Octillery.
Yeah, you just Abyssal Hand, and they bounce right in. So it's, in a way, this sort of...
It's essentially a teammates.
Teammates, but a teammates that you could play even if you didn't get a knockout suffered on the last turn.
And I think like a few people were testing out like a Mega Ray deck with unknowns for their ability to draw a card with Mallow.
I think that that Tapu Bulu had so few HP left that Vulpix just knocked it out.
Oh, wow. The icy wind from Vulpix knocks out the Tapu Bulu GX.
Here we see,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I was like, where's the Ninetales? Oh, yeah, I guess it does still... You almost always see Beacon on Vulpix.
Yeah.
Never really the second attack. But that Bulu was pretty stacked with counters.
Yeah, Vulpix still trying to... Oh, it's Icy Snow, sorry, not Icy Wind.
That's probably the first time I've even vocalized that. But,
Vulpix is still trying to put its hat in the ring for one of the best Pokemon to come out of Guardians Rising. Kind of has to compete with Tapu Lele and Garbodor a little bit, but it's up there.
What a set. That has really defined the metagame. Just that set and the promo cards that came out alongside it.
Honestly, I haven't seen a set impact the game this much. Like, granted, I didn't play back in like the regular EX era and stuff, but Stormfront was kind of like the set I like equate it to the most.
Yeah, you and I are from the same era. I feel the same way. It has been wild. We got a float stone down on the Vikavolt, which is something that's
really important.
I saw a game where it ended and player wasn't able to finish because they just couldn't actively retreat it. Kept getting pulled up with Lysander and they weren't able to move it.
And one thing that's really smart about this deck, with Strong Charge, you can attach the energy anywhere you want. So let's say you want to put the grass on the Tapu Bulu and you have nowhere to put the lightning. Well, Tapu Lele is a pretty good attacker.
Yeah, Tapu Lele is usually the end game. It's got a big stack full of energy, dealing tons of damage. And it looks like he grabbed the other Vikavolt, has not evolved it yet. But I imagine he will, and then just search for a bunch of energy here. Likely even the rest of his deck's energy. He does have one in hand. Let's see what we got.
Unfortunately, he did have to discard an Energy Recycler early. And it looks like to be the only one.
He might not be able to get it back.
And there we see the Tapu Lele coming out to take the knockout on this Alolan Vulpix.
Choice Band ready on the Bulu for a follow-up knockout. Doesn't even grab energy while he doesn't really need it. Just doing the conservative knockout with the Lele here for 1 prize. Jackie now down to 2.
Yeah, this is smart because now you have the threat of a one-hit KO with a Tapu Bulu on the bench. So he's looking, he Lysander the Tapu Bulu, but I don't know if he can really do much. Okay, getting rid of the Choice Band is great.
I was going to say, pulling it up is almost really asking for it. I'm wondering He's going to run with it. A lot of Choice Band have hit the discard pile. I don't think Jackie has any more of those.
Yeah, he only runs the 2.
So now this is going to be an interesting situation where the Ninetales, powered up on energy, can start sniping around if you want to.
Well, the Ninetales actually takes the knockout.
Yeah, boom.
Thanks
there
to
it
its
goes.
own Choice Band.
Choice Band, 2 energy, discarded. Ninetales often used for its first attack and its GX attack, but it does have a third powerful attack as well.
Yeah.
So Bulu's down, and now it's 2 prizes to 2 prizes.
And discarding the 2 energy here actually is kind of a lifesaver. Like, well, now your Tapu Lele can't really do anything to me.
Yeah, it doesn't hit nearly strong enough, and
You're going to hit me for 60, and then I'll rough seize 30 of it away?
this is going to get a little weird. I think ideally, Jackie would love to power up another Bulu, slap down a band, and get the 1-hit knockout, but I think he's out of bands now.
I think he's also out of energy.
He's got 1 in hand. I don't know how many are in deck, but it certainly isn't a ton.
Well, here we go.
Here come the charges. Oh, 2.
Oh, there's exactly enough for 1 strong charge.
Where do you put it?
I don't know. You have to do the Bulu, right?
Yeah, Bulu certainly does hit better. I guess you could try the 1-2 punch. Lele does half. Bulu does the other half.
Oh, here we might see the Tapu Lele Wonder Attack for Brock's Grit. A card that we haven't really seen much either, but it allows you to shuffle in any combination of energy or Pokemon into your deck up to 6.
And in this case, it's almost always 6
Oh,
energy.
yeah, always.
Now that's a recharge.
Yeah.
Then you can just combine that with another charge. Here we go. 2 more energy on the way, or just 1 in this case.
Yeah, it makes me curious, like why he's only attaching like 1 at a time, kind of thing. Maybe just conserving, and he doesn't really want to like thin his deck that much.
Instead, just opting to go up to the Bulu. No discard here, just the 120. Yeah, and I don't know. This is going to be a weird situation for Gustavo. Is there any way he can get the knockout on this turn outside of some crazy shenanigan with like a switch and an Aqua Patch on the bench?
So, unfortunately for him, he does not play any switch. He only plays the 2 Floatstone.
Wow,
so
just retreating through
yeah.
the Octillery, saying, well, I hope my opponent doesn't have a Lysander. That
and
said,
we know
we've
Jackie
got the view from
has
here.
the Lysander.
So Jackie could just close
wow.
the... Oh, but here comes an end.
Commentator's curse, right?
Yeah, it's it always happens at these end games. You think you have it, you get end away at a low hand size. Jackie's going to be able to draw 2 cards here. Jackie's still in a solid situation, but is in sort of a scary spot. Both these players are looking for that game-winning Lysander coming up.
And the thing is, though, N is not really affecting Gustavo at all thanks to that Octillery.
Yeah, can just draw the cards right back up on Abyssal Hand. There's a new set of 5. Ninetales got 2 water patches over the course of that? Wow. Yeah, just had a switching card. This would be fantastic, but unfortunately, it doesn't run one. It's not super common.
And I did not see Jackie's hand. It's kind of keeping it hidden from us.
Yeah, that always adds the tension to me, too.
Yeah.
So we've got a Octillery up. We'll only give up 1 prize card. It's basically going to be whether or not Jackie can knock out this Ninetales.
Yeah, that is the only Pokemon that gives away 2 prizes for being knocked out.
And here we go. Draw.
The
and there's the Lysander.
was in the hand.
Oh, all that tension was for good reason. He had it. So Lysander would pull up the Ninetales. Tapu Bulu finishes the job. And a very close, exciting game goes to Jackie for game 1.
Yeah, definitely. That was a great back and forth. The fact that with a Choice Band, both of their main attackers can take a 1-hit knockout on each other.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting it from the Ninetales at first. You know, a lot of these water Pokemon, you'd think like, oh, they've got like the conservation energy. Or some grass Pokemon have the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think they've probably got an ability or a way where you don't get knocked down in 1 hit. But there, Ninetales does just enough with a Choice Band, takes them down in 1 way. When Bulu has the Choice Band, it can take out the 210 HP Ninetales. It's just a bunch of big attacks.
And that's where we see the rough seize was pretty big to keep Gustavo in that game. Because if Jackie had the conservation area in play, Tapu Bulu has no chance of being knocked out in 1 hit.
Yeah, and I believe they both only run 2 copies of their stadium, so it's very realistic for one players to stick on over the others. And that's going to be a big conversation as we see going into the second game.
Yeah, the key cards for both of the players are the stadiums and the Choice Bands. So Gustavo playing 3 choice bands and 2 stadiums, and Jackie playing 2 and 2. It'll be interesting to see who's going to win the stadium war, who will get their field blowers faster, and who will actually draw their choice bands.
Yeah, both also running 2 field blowers. So it's going to be very realistically bouncing back and forth through the entire time. We do see a mulligan over on Jackie's end. Gustavo's already set up with a basic Pokemon. We'll have the option to draw an additional card.
Yeah, the one thing Gustavo's deck does have going for him over Jackie is inherently it's just a more consistent deck. Alolan Vulpix with its beacon attack will allow Gustavo, if he so needs to search for any Pokemon he wants. That means Tapu Leles, that means Octilleries, that means Ninetales, and it will allow him to get set up a lot faster. And we kind of saw Jackie stumble a little bit, not having his rare candies, having to go into Charjabug, having to finally go into Vikavolt. But once he got that, it was kind of like steamrolling the energies there.
Yeah, and these spread decks usually have opportunities to sort of shut down. 3 mulligans in a row now for Jackie. just hoping to start the game at this point.
Yeah.
Sometimes you reach that point of no return where it's like, okay, I don't even care if it's a bad start. I would just like to start, please. So these spread decks often have opportunities to knock out your Vikavolt or your Charjabugs and your Grubbins before they can become a Vikavolt. But if you're not able to prevent that and they can get the 2 Vikavolt out in play,
it looks
it's
like
very hard to stop.
Another mulligan.
Another one. 4 straight mulligans.
I think it was 5 or 6 that Grafton had earlier.
Yeah, I've seen some terrible stuff.
Yeah.
There's a decent
Mostly it's like
amount
Greninja, but
yeah, Greninja makes sense because you only have the 4 basic Pokemon and the Talonflame, and even the Talonflame is optional. Here we go again. I do see a Grubbin at the very least, so we are finally going to be able to start. Big question is, does Jackie can't even end this away. I assume Gustavo's going first. He's going to get the benefit of those 4 cards immediately.
Man, talk about being consistent. When you have 4 more cards in your hand, and we see he has the Bridget.
Just started with a big wheel, basically.
Yeah.
And so here we go. Starting game 2, Gustavo kicking off, trying to even this series.
And there's that turn 1 Bridget, which has just been probably the thing we've seen the most this weekend.
Yep, it's a fantastic card. Just gets 3 Pokemon to your bench. It's very similar to the old Pokemon Collector card. It's a little bit less powerful because you don't get to keep the Pokemon in your hand for coming into play abilities.
Could you imagine if we had a Collector with Lele?
Well, yeah, if Collector was legal right now, it would just be way too good.
Yeah.
However, that's why you have stuff like Pokemon Fan Club,
Yeah.
where you don't get 3 Pokemon, but you get 2, and you get to keep them in your hand. So here, if you want all 3, you have to sacrifice that. But for a lot of these decks, you're okay with that. None of these would come into play abilities. These are just Pokemon you want to get down to either attack with Blade or Evolve.
Yeah, and his hand is great. There's Ninetales, Octillery, the double colors that he attached to the Vulpix. So he can just sit back, wait to evolve next turn, play the Sycamore, draw a fresh new hand.
Yeah, can you imagine? You start with an 11-card hand or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It turns out it's actually decent. Now back over on Jackie's end. I'm sure he would even love an end still. Gustavo's got a stacked hand. I think Jackie's just hoping for any draw in general. Does have Sycamore,
but there's a lot of resources in his hand that he doesn't really want to get rid of.
Yeah, lots of other valuable supporters. I think once again I saw the energy charge in there.
Yeah, and the bad thing, Tapu Bulu GX, its first attack does take a grass. So it really kind of sucks when you start with the lightning in your hand.
Wow, so lightning to Bulu.
And the field blower going down also.
Just a straight up Sycamore. We talked about the huge importance of the field blower war, the stadium war, whose stadium is going to stick. Does have 2 Grubbin down, which is something you like to see, but no access to the Vikavolt yet. Passes back over to Gustavo. Get ready for some evolutions.
And the choice band comes down.
Ninetales.
Especially after the field blower goes to the discard. But a field blower of his own also going.
Yeah, sometimes you just got a Sycamore. It can be unfortunate. You have to discard valuable resources. But in order to stay competitive in this game, you have to be constantly drawing big hands, playing a lot of cards, and that's what Sycamore does do. So looking at his options, he's got time for some Aqua Patches. He's got at least 1 water. I think only 1 water in there, but that's what Ninetales wants right now. Floatstone down. Another Choice Band down on the other Alolan Vulpix. Draw from Abyssal Hand. Just in general, running the engine.
So Double Colorless is a great card on a Ninetales GX, just because with its second attack, I believe called Blizzard Burn, it does 160, discard 2 energy. Well, if you have 3 water, then you have to discard the 2 water, but discarding the Double Colorless means you can just attach an energy and use the attack next turn.
Yeah.
It's Blizzard Edge, my apology.
No, yeah, it's a fantastic attack. I
always get the first part of the attack right.
Yeah, they keep doing iterations
Yeah.
on very similar names. The only downside is, of course, he wasn't able to get another energy. Wanted to fish for that second Aqua Patch. Just knock out the Bulu right now would have been incredibly aggressive and strong. But Ninetales, just preserving, will be really good on this next turn. Here we actually see the Ultra Ball discarding, grabbing Vikavolt. I know that there's a rare candy in Jackie's hand, so let's evolve like it's 2010. Here we go.
Woo!
Rare candy into Vikavolt. You can get the 2 energy. If he had like Choice Band and Lysander, it'd be fantastic. I don't think he's got that hot of a start.
Unfortunately, he just has a Sycamore with a hand of 0, I guess.
And you did mention it is kind of unfortunate you can't get double grass right now to this active Bulu, but you could still spread the love around and start accelerating in one way. So we go. 1 to the active and 1 to the bench. Oh, and he does have a grass in hand as well.
So this is a pretty perfect hand other than the Lysander play.
So here comes a new Sycamore. He's going to get another Vikavolt.
Wow, that means 2 Tapu Bulus will be charged up this turn.
You can either go all in Rare Candy now or even just go step by step. Says, no, you know what? I want this energy now. So there we go. Another power charge ready to go. And here we see thumbing through his deck's options. Just decides to attack right away. Grabbing
Nature's Judgment for the knockout.
No energy discard, of course.
And he's sitting pretty right now, although that Ninetales is pretty scary. There's no conservation area in play. So 1 more water spells a knockout for this Tapu Bulu.
Yeah, and it's going to then come back to Jackie and become the question of, can you get your Choice Band and grab a return knockout?
And we see the second Choice Band on the other Ninetales GX. That means it will be taking knockouts as long as he can get those energy to keep using Blizzard Edge.
Is it going to be back and forth swings? Jackie's going to have the ability to attach energy with his Vikavolt's ability. On Gustavo's side, he's going to be looking for more Aqua Patch and way to discard water into the discard pile. I at least see a patch here at the end of his hand.
And he does have a water, so he will be able to attach a water to the Ninetales and take a knockout this turn.
And so I believe we're going to see just that. Here's the attachment. Free Retreat Floatstone is also on the Tapu Lele actively. It's there. It just looks like he draws a card, but it's because of Octillery's Abyssal Hand ability. And there we go. A Blizzard Edge, only having to discard the double colorless energy for a 2-prize knockout on Tapu Bulu.
And wow, he gets the 1 Mallow from the prizes. That means as long as he can keep his hand going in the next turn, he will be set up for the very future and most likely get the other Ninetales set up also.
Meanwhile, Jackie desperately trying to find one of those Choice Band. It's necessary for him to get a return knockout on the Ninetales.
Yeah,
he can have all the energy acceleration in the world, but that doesn't mean a prize.
He does have an N in hand, so it'll be interesting to see. He will be able to shuffle away the great hand from Gustavo, and he'll have to try to find in just only 5 cards one of his 2 Choice Bands.
Yeah, I guess if I'm Jackie, I'm probably trying to accelerate some energy first before the end. Also has an Ultra Ball, so you can sort of thin out some of the options that you don't want to end up missing out on here.
Maybe get another Tapu Bulu.
Yeah, so here we go, grabbing the energy right away from the first power charge.
Also, what's important right now is if he can actually get the conservation area in play.
Or sorry, a strong charge.
Yeah, strong charge.
I'm in that same boat as you now. So there we see. We've got a 1 attachment there. Just opting to go for the grass. Doesn't want to put the lightning on anything. Ultra Ball as well.
That's interesting because depending on what he gets here,
he must
I might have wanted the lightning on the new Pokemon.
He must be wanting a different kind of supporter with Tapu Lele because he actually pitched the N here. So doing just that. Lele coming down. I wonder if he's just so desperate for that he just wants to Sycamore. And
wow, yeah.
Grab Sycamore from the deck, not knowing that his opponent has the Mallow, of course. Is just going to have to shuffle all the energy back in that he can. Maybe even attach some of those to the Lele. I'm not sure what he wants to do yet.
Yeah, here,
1 to the Lele, 1 to the
Recycler is kind of a double-edged sword because, yeah, you need the Choice Band, you need the conservation area, and you need the energy for later on in the game. You don't want to lose this Energy Recycler. You're only 1. but you just shuffled in 5 cards you don't want to draw with this Sycamore.
So there we go. Sycamore drawing into a fresh hand of 7, but there are more energy in his deck, so it's more likely that he'll run into cards he doesn't want to see. Let's see, is there a choice band? Last card? No.
But he did get the Field Blower. That means Gustavo's only down to 1 choice band left. He might be able to search it out with this Mallow if he can burn his hand enough to draw with Abyssal Hand.
Yeah, just forced to just do a basic attack here. Nature's Judgment, no energy discarded. And Gustavo has a lot of options. Mallow might be able to do it. I don't know how many cards he has that he could play out of his hand to make sure that he can draw them with Octillery afterward.
I think I see double Aqua Patch in his hand also.
A lot of patches. I don't know how many water are actually in the discard pile, though. This could be a weird situation.
Although he kind of does have a reset button in his GX attack with Ice Path GX. Essentially saying, well, you know, last turn, let's redo it.
So here we see, wow, just going straight for the N.
Yeah,
Maybe
I don't think he could have gotten his hand down enough.
Wasn't able to play it down. So it does have an attachment to the benched Ninetales. This is also a weird situation. I think he's maybe even just committing to that slower GX attack. Get the damage off now. Hope that my opponent misses the choice band once again.
Yeah, and N actually putting him at a disadvantage, only drawing 4 cards compared to Jackie's 5.
And so, let's see. He has like another energy. There we go. GX attack activated. Ice Path moving the damage. Not a knockout. So both these players sort of fizzling at the moment where they needed to get a choice band the most. And once again, we've seen this story several turns straight. It's another N.
Yeah, and we actually, I don't know if Gustavo Abyssal Hand didn't matter in the end there, but it's always something you kind of got to be worried about. Like, well, okay,
yeah,
I have this ability.
Might as well draw whenever possible. I'm sure both these players' nerves are starting to set in. This is an important time to grab wins.
Yeah. How do you feel about the GX mechanic that's been introduced?
Oh, I love it. I think
Really?
it's really cool. Just because there's so many different types. The GX attacks, oh wow, misses the choice band again. Just forced to output some damage.
Yeah, he actually uses his own GX attack in Tapu Wilderness GX. So it's kind of heal 1, heal 1. All right. This time it's the reverse of what we saw game 1, where the Tapu Bulu used its attack first, then the Ninetales used it, to where Ninetales was free of damage. Now the Tapu's free of damage, and Jackie's looking pretty good in this right now in this game.
Yeah, Jackie's got another turn here to work with stuff. Assuming his opponent doesn't have their choice band, it's again a question of bands. Who's gonna? Oh, and there it is.
Got it off the. His 2 cards were choice band Rough Seas.
Wow, what a combination! So here we are going to see presumably a one-hit knockout.
And
also,
his other Field Blower.
Boom. And so there is a instant knockout for Gustavo. 2 prizes. Another Bulu bites the dust.
Oh my god.
This is going to be really difficult for Jackie to recover from.
It's going to be really difficult for me to recover from.
It looks like Jackie can get a Bulu here. There's a floatstone. Oh no, there's not a floatstone.
Yeah.
It was just removed.
The Field Blower coming in clutch.
Wow, surprised he didn't throw up the Tapu Lele.
Maybe he's thinking about attacking with Vikavolt.
Electro Cannon.
Yeah,
we're going to see it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
This attack is kind of the worst attack in the deck because you end up discarding 3 energy from Vikavolt.
Yeah, it's incredibly risky to do. That said, I think he recognizes the danger of having, oh, and here we go, an N, dropping Gustavo down to 2 cards. Recognizes the danger of one of his Pokemon GX or EX being knocked out in return.
Yeah, exactly. He kind of wants to just attack with that one prize attacker, kind of keeping him up in the game a little bit.
This is a super inefficient attack, having to discard 3 energy to do it. But it will give him 2 prize cards here and get another Ninetales down.
He finally drew the choice band.
Several turns too late.
Okay, so his hand, though, is actually pretty good. He got Brock's Grit from the prizes and a Heavy Ball.
Oh, wow.
So that
he can reset to Bulu.
Yeah. Reset to Bulu, put 5 energy back in the deck if he wants.
You know what knocking out Ninetales did, though? Is it made Aqua Patch completely okay once again. And this is the danger of throwing out Vikavolt, is when it gets knocked out, you lose one of your strong charges.
Yeah, now he will be forced to play an energy from his hand and find a way to retreat this Tapu Lele.
Wow, this is going to be tough. I think Gustavo just might have shut Jackie down for the second game. Let's see. You can get a lot of energy back. Heavy ball, if he can retreat, he's okay. But he needs a float stone, and I don't even know if I see one here in the deck.
I don't see a float stone at all. I see an Olympia, but that doesn't help.
No, yeah, you're well.
Well, maybe, but either way, he still needs to draw another energy, and I don't think he has any energy in hand.
Yeah, he only has the one strong charge that he can do. Wow, that is tough. Looked like he had an awesome situation, but finding that choice band off the Abyssal Hand from Octillery was absolutely huge for Gustavo.
Yeah, and I don't know what Jackie can really do this game.
Yeah, grabs the Bulu for now off the heavy ball. It's heavy enough for it. It's actually a fantastic card because you have things inside of the deck that have 3 retreat cost, including some of your Vikavolt pieces.
Yeah, Vikavolt, the Charge Bug, Heavy Ball showing its worth right now. It's kind of also a card that's only seen in this deck.
Yeah, every once in a while you find stuff that just has retreat cost big enough for it. Here's the charge. Energies going top and bottom, 1 to Lele, 1 to Bulu. I wonder if Jackie's just conceded the fact that I'm going to have to let them attack me and hope that they can't knock me out.
It does look that way. And essentially he's like, all right, well, you don't have another choice band right now. Let's hope the last one's gone. So you have no more access to choice band. So all you can really do is Blizzard Edge for 160. I'm not scared of that.
Yeah, retreating, throwing up Bulu. Maybe even saying, hey, I don't need the choice band. Oh, well, here a choice band and horn attack. There you'll be able to follow up with an attack and not even have to discard energy.
Exactly. There are no more field blowers from Gustavo.
So here we see on Gustavo's end versus Seeker. Going to pull out the Lysander.
Wow, this is huge.
Double
Taking
colorless.
out the Vikavolt for game. And now he has tied it up 1-1.
Yeah, and we've got not a full amount of time, but a decent amount of time. We might be able to see a very fast Game 3 played through.
Yeah, definitely if kind of they get the same kind of starts they've had this game.
This is a very interesting matchup to watch. Both players at different times have looked dominant over the other. You see at times like, wow, they can just get easy knockouts one way or another, but it all comes down to who's getting those choice bands, who's getting the field blowers to remove the choice bands. Who's getting their stadium to lock down?
Yeah, we actually saw 0 stadiums being played that match.
Yeah, there was like one sad, barely used Rough Seas at some point. But I think the more relevant stadium is whether or not Jackie's conservation area actually ends up sticking, and there it just didn't at all.
The Aether Paradise conservation area.
Yeah. He's got 2 tickets to paradise in his deck. Needs to find one of them.
Please, no, Josh.
Yes, Jeremy. So here we go. Both players setting up. We've got a 3rd game coming on the way. And both these players have a very good point total right now. They're probably sitting at a good chance of making their way into top 8, but a win would certainly cement that.
Yeah, well, we see here Gustavo's record is 11-1-1.
11 wins?
That means he actually has 34 points, which we think is safe.
Yeah, that's
top 8.
That's what you told me anyway.
Yeah.
I never do the point math because I always get it wrong. I just rely on those who know it better. But yeah, 33, 34 points seems like it would be a really good spot to be in. So both these players have a solid shot at making the prestigious top 8.
So if he wins this, he's definitely guaranteed. Like even at 34, he's like almost for sure in. That means Jackie is playing for his top 8 life.
I think so. Yeah, if Jackie wins, I think there's a high chance that both of these players end up in top 8.
Yeah, all he needs, he's at 31 points right now. That means if he gets that win, they're both sitting at 34. And really, Gustavo's just playing for that seeding placement. Being able to get that first seed and make it so you play one of like the maybe weaker decks that make it in, squeak it in at 8 seed.
Well, here we're seeing a return of the storyline from the beginning of last game. This time Gustavo the one with multiple mulligan in a row.
And the person who's mulliganing is the one who won the previous turn, so they were not able to end the mulligans away.
Right. Jackie will get to go first, assuming that's what he chose. Almost always the choice. We did see a very rare option where the player decided to go second because they were rushing in time, trying to get a first turn attack.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Jesper did it at the end of yesterday.
Okay, yeah.
It was a rare situation. I like trying to get maybe a turn 1 win. Here we go, off over on Jackie's side. Starting Bulu, that's what you want to see. Starting Tapu Lele, that's what you want to see.
I think we might actually see the turn 1 Bridget from Jackie.
The only thing that can stop it is if it's prized. I wasn't able to catch it on the prize cam one way or another.
Well, he's getting Pokemon one way or another.
Okay, here's the Pokemon. Show me the Bridget.
Still need the Bridget.
You need the Bridget first.
Does not
you
have
need
the
Bridget
yet.
You need to play Bridget. Jackie.
No.
No, Jackie, you need to play Bridget. I'll see what I could do to alert them.
Yeah, so maybe he's just trying to shortcut, but this is also why you don't
This is why I always say, please, okay, looks like someone was able to catch it immediately. Thank goodness. You can't. Tapu Lele does not search your deck for 3 Pokemon. It searches your deck for a supporter card.
Yeah.
And then you play 3 Pokemon.
So this is interesting. The way they rule it, it might be like, well, he searched his deck, didn't grab a supporter, and then shuffled. Maybe he failed the search.
And unfortunately, yeah, it's possible it could be. I'd be interested to see his prize cards to see if the Bridget is in the deck. But yeah, we'll see what they end up calling here.
Yeah, and this is really crucial. Along with the time that's going on, there is 9 minutes, a little over 9 minutes, and it's counting down. Now, granted, the way the rulings work, you don't actually get the time extension unless it's over a certain amount of time.
You are correct. Yeah, I'm wondering. Oh, okay. There is the Bridget there in the deck. Whew, I was getting really nervous there. I always just I like to believe that players are always honest, and I want to see everything go the way that it's supposed to. Just wanted to make sure that they had the Bridget and played it. Yeah, this is why you should never shortcut. Play all the cards in order. Even if you don't, you can keep your deck up, but just play the cards down in the order you need to. So thankfully, Bridget there, energy down. Back over to Gustavo's, but like you said, that might have taken up a chunk of time. We really did want to see a finish here one way or another.
And again, we saw the lightning coming down on the Bulu turn 1 instead of the grass energy. And it's interesting because he plays more grass than lightning. It's just, for what it seems, turn 1, he's always had just the lightning in his hand.
And right off the bat, we see an N on Gustavo's side. Both these players sort of getting their ideal start. You want to get Bulu to start off on Jackie's deck. With Gustavo's deck, of course, you want Vulpix and that wonderful Beacon attack.
Yeah, I think it's the first time we're actually going to see Beacon from Gustavo.
And once again, just I think with all those cards in hand, a lot of Water Patch, Aqua Patch. I don't know if he's dropped any yet. Might just have to preserve this Vulpix. I don't think he got any replacement Vulpix. Once again, accidentally drawing 7 cards now off of the end instead of the 6.
Oh, no.
Just, I'm sure that there are jitters here in the camera, but just hoping the players can continue to make sure that they play all the cards exactly as needed.
Jitters on camera. I'd have jitters from being a win away from top 8 of the world, the biggest Pokemon tournament.
Biggest
so far.
Pokemon tournament in the world.
Yeah,
we could say that much. This is the most players we've ever had in a tournament. And, well, the World Championships is, of course, more prestigious. You have to earn your way to an invite. This is the most number of players we've ever seen.
I don't know. Some people have said that previous iterations of this tournament, known as Nationals, have been some of the hardest tournaments ever.
They do have more rounds and more players, so you are less likely to win, some say.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of arguments for it. I deem them both to be very big wins, very big tournaments.
I know Jason Klaczynski, before his Nationals win, was saying Nationals was a harder tournament than Worlds because he's won 3 Worlds, but he hasn't won a Nationals before that year.
People kept knocking him. They're like, oh, well, sure, you won Worlds 3 times, but yeah, but have you won a Nationals? And then he goes and wins a Nationals anyway, just to, like, remove any naysaying. I believe the judges maybe had a talk, maybe issued a warning there, just telling Jackie, you need to follow all the steps of play. And then we do see a continuation on Gustavo's turn. A Beacon for 2 Pokemon. We've got Octillery and a Vulpix. And I did have confirmation there was a warning there.
Yeah, so Beacon, being the amazing attack it is, search your deck for 2 Pokemon. And even though he can't play him down right away, he will have him for next turn. And he still will be able to keep playing this game. So with the way the points are, like I said, Gustavo's at 34 points. He still gets a very guaranteed lockup with a tie.
Yeah, he's sort of just looking to tie. So if this game doesn't finish, I think it's in his favor. Jackie, in need of slightly more points, does want the win.
Yeah, if he does not get the win this round, he will play for a win in the next round.
So here we see Rare Candy to the Vikavolt. Bulu down. He has a strong charge. Even the Choice Band as well. A Sycamore to follow up. And because Gustavo can't follow with another Ninetales, wasn't able to get 2 Vulpix down, this is going to be a pretty powerful start for Jackie. He's going to want to play as fast as possible to try and bring this game to a conclusion.
Exactly. The way it looks right now, Jackie's in the driver's seat, and he will be able to kind of sweep through all of Gustavo's Pokemon as it seems right now if he got a Grass Energy from his Sycamore.
Yeah, did he? I wasn't able to see. Here we go.
He
yes.
did. All right,
Okay.
He got 2.
So Grass up to the top. The other Bulu's being charged. Jackie's in the driver's seat now. Needs to play as quickly as possible. And that's another reason. Some of those slip-ups earlier might have even cost him some valuable time.
Exactly.
You're trying to beat
maybe
the
a
clock.
minute or 2. Like
1 knockout down on Alolan Vulpix. Tapu Lele up in the active position. Field Blower discarding the tools.
This is not a bad turn from Gustavo either.
Vulpix down.
There we see the Mallow. Wow.
Mallow gets to get scooped up immediately when Octillery activates Abyssal Hand. So Gustavo did take an early Pokemon knockout, but isn't messing around when it comes to showing what his deck can do.
It'll be interesting to see what he actually got.
Yeah, he doesn't have to reveal to his opponent what he got off the Mallow, but I want to see, you know. So I think
it looked to be a double colorless and a Vulpix.
Yeah, that looks right to me. So he's got multiple Vulpix down. Can apply pressure here with the Tapu Lele. Once again, it becomes a question. Does Jackie have a Choice Band? Just got one of his 2 discarded. He just drew it.
He drew the Choice Band.
He just drew it.
Wow.
So he can Choice Band and combine that with his GX attack, grab the knockout, erase this damage.
Now,
wipe
I
away
think
the
the
deck.
perfect thing is if he gets that stadium, but it does not look like he has access to it. That means all the pressure is on Gustavo now to get an Aqua Patch maybe, another energy attachment, and a Choice Band to take the revenge KO on Tapu Bulu GX. That was a great turn from Jackie right there.
It was. Right off the top of the deck. Didn't even play a supporter card. Didn't even...
Yeah, I don't need it.
Didn't even strong charge. Just decided, you know what, I need to play as quickly as possible, grab those prizes.
And I like seeing that, the no strong charge. Sure, it might hurt you if the game goes long, but if the game goes long, you're going to tie.
Yeah, this is a conversation I had with Kyle Sukovic yesterday on how sometimes you actually have playing faster is better than playing better.
Yeah.
Yeah. You actually have to play worse if it means that you can beat the clock. And so I believe we see another Mallow combo.
Another one, yeah.
Mallow into Abyssal Hand. So that should give Gustavo the pieces he needs. Here's an attachment. I would imagine probably an Aqua Patch. Oh, wow, another Field Blower. So now the Choice Bands are all gone on Jackie's end.
Wow, yeah.
That's going to slow him down at a time where he absolutely needs to go as fast as possible.
And we see the Ultra Ball. He already did use Abyssal Hand to draw from the Mallow. So Ninetales will be brought up and just snipe the Mew for 50.
Taking the Mew down, says, I do not want to deal with that. I want to grab a prize right now. Just stay competitive. Put Ninetales up. You don't have any Choice Bands, so what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, with the Choice Bands being gone, that means essentially Gustavo can just stall another turn with Ice Path GX.
Yeah, the only other way, really, that Jackie can get a knockout is a Tapu Lele with an insane amount of energy. If he wants to get a one-hit knockout on Alolan Vulpix, or sorry, Alolan Ninetales. And here we see Sycamore just digging in. I don't think he runs any way to get Choice Bands back out of the discard pile once they're gone.
No, that's another kind of victim of Garbodor being popular in the format, is a card that I really love, Puzzle of Time.
Yes.
Which has been used to get back items and anything from the discard, has honestly just disappeared completely from the format.
Yeah, and we've seen throughout the years, cards that can get items back from the discard pile have been incredibly popular. Things like Junk Arm and even Item Finder going all the way back to the beginning of the game.
Sableye Junk Hunt.
Sableye Junk Hunt. All of those are really, really good. Even Bunnelby to some extent with Rototiller. So here we just see Tapu Lele coming up, trying to do part of the damage. The problem is this is easily ice pathable, but it does represent an interesting situation. If they ice path, you get to keep your Lele and maybe can pile up energy on it. It's just Jackie with a bunch of opportunities to take prizes, but maybe not enough time to take 3 prizes, which is what he desperately needs.
I think that if he actually had that minute or two from that judge ruling, he might have been able to close out this game. But as it looks like right now, 30 seconds left in the round.
Yeah, that's going to be really tough. He's so close. The back-to-back field blowers, or just back-to-back removal of the choice band, was really crucial for Gustavo.
And with that end here, I think that almost guarantees that Gustavo's most likely going to be turn 0.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we can get a confirmation hand waved from the judge to let us know. They've been a lot better at communicating that, which I really appreciate. But look at that. And Jackie doesn't have much other than a field blower and an in on his side. And there's the ice path.
All right, it's all about when Jackie draws his card when time is called. He drew the card, but I don't know if time was called before he drew it or after. That makes a huge difference.
I feel the judge typically throws a die down when it's turn 1, so perhaps it is turn 1.
Or he throws down turn 0.
Oh, okay.
It's a 4-sided die.
Oh, okay.
So it just goes 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's unfortunate. It's so hard for us to read.
Yeah.
So we do see the field blower coming on Jackie's side would be important in a long-term game. But in the short term, Jackie desperately needs to get knockouts. Like, I don't know how, though. Yeah, without the choice band, you just can't deal enough damage to take 3 prizes in 2 turns.
Yeah, there's no, like, spreading or anything. Like, there's no Vikavolt GX. Has a few of these decks may have played that has the GX attack to, like, spread 60 everywhere.
Right. We the only thing that could really save Jackie is if the players have agreed to something where prize leads to a win. Otherwise, Gustavo has earned himself the draw that he needed to lock himself into top 8.
Even further, yeah.
Didn't even attack, I don't think. He just passed. Said, yep, there you go. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
That was an explosive series, and I believe it, at the very least, confirms one of our top 8 members.
Yeah, for sure. Gustavo will be in top 8 of the world's largest Pokemon tournament. And he's sitting pretty.
He is.
Ninetales, not a deck people thought would make an impact. And
Ninetales got a lot of hype when it was first printed, and then it died almost completely. Like, we didn't really see it much at regionals. We saw it splashed into other decks.
Yeah, Vulpix was more of a card than Ninetales, honestly.
Yeah, some decks are still just running solo Vulpix.
Yeah.
But Gustavo's saying, hey, you know what? I really want to run this combination of cards, this combination of water Pokemon. The Aqua Patch is incredibly powerful. Rough Seas keeps my Pokemon in play for a long period of time. The new Tapu Koko spreads very well and synergizes very well. It's a deck that I feel like doesn't have a lot of super great